Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbity Bobbity Books. My name is Ellie and this is going to be my autumn TBR video. So for this video I have basically scoured my bookshelves and collected a whole bunch of books that I think are going to be perfect for the autumn season. I am very much a mood reader, so I don't like to set myself strict TBRs, but I do like to read in accordance with the season, if that makes sense. I feel like that's a really immersive experience and I just feel like that way I get the most out of each and every season, so I really enjoy doing that. So I've collected all of the books from my shelves I think would be fitting for autumn, so mostly spooky books, mostly horror books because of course we've got Halloween coming up. But I also have some other things in there as well. I've got some fantasy and some other bits and bobs that I think would fit the vibe of autumn. I do have quite a lot of books to talk you through today, so I won't be reading all of these over the next few months because I feel like that would be impossible for me. I am actually quite a slow reader and I work full time and things like that, so I won't be getting through all of these, but these are the ones that are highest on my priority that I will definitely be sort of picking from and prioritising. So if there's any in this list that you think that I would really love or that you would like to hear my thoughts on, please do let me know in the comment section down below and I will try to prioritise those ones. I will also say that I do have some books on pre-order that haven't arrived yet, so this isn't an exhaustive list and I may pick books up that aren't in this list, but I am rambling now, so I'm just gonna sort of jump straight in with the first book and let's work through all of my autumn books that I am so excited to get to, hopefully in the next couple of months. So the first two books that I wanted to mention are actually non-fiction books, which is quite unusual for me because I'm not a massive non-fiction reader. That being said, I have read some real gems that are non-fictions, so I feel like when you find that niche, that topic that you're really interested in, then it's gonna be a hit. But yeah, typically I don't read a load of non-fiction books, but I saw these and I just thought they were so beautiful that I had to pick them up. So both of these books are published by Kew Gardens and they've come out with this gorgeous series, and it's basically about plant life that has been used in ancient medicine but also within folklore and witchcraft and things like that, and they just look so beautiful. So if we focus on this one first, so this one is Witch's Garden, Plants in Folklore, Magic and Traditional Medicine. And it's literally what it says on the cover really. It's a book with gorgeous illustrations in it that talks about different plants and their qualities and how they've historically been used in ancient medicine and how they've been linked to folklore, and it's just such a beautiful book, and with it being sort of witchy vibes, I feel like it's perfect for autumn as well. And then this one is very similar, except for this one is about mushrooms because this is The Magic of Mushrooms, Fungi in Folklore, Superstition and Traditional Medicine. So very much kind of the same idea, but obviously focusing in on fungi. These are the kinds of books that I really enjoy having out on like a coffee table that you can flick through when you've got a spare 10 minutes or so, and you can just find out a little bit more about these plants and these fungi and their qualities and their properties. And I think that's the way that I'm going to enjoy these stories rather than sitting down and trying to read them cover to cover, because I just don't think that's the best way to enjoy these kinds of books. But yeah, I'm very excited to have a flick through some of these when I am in the mood. The next set of books that I wanted to talk to you about are all Darcy Coates books. So Darcy Coates is a horror author that I know a lot of people really enjoy. She's actually quite new to me. I've only read one book of hers, which was From Below, and I had mixed opinions on it. I didn't love it, if I'm being honest. I will link my video down below where you can hear me talking more about that in depth if you're interested to hear my thoughts. But I do have 3 more books of theirs because I bought a stack of books. It was like a bundle that was really cheap in a local bookstore, and they all came together, so I just picked them up because I thought it'd be fun to do maybe like a Darcy Coates reading vlog. So please do let me know if you'd be interested to see that. But these are the 3 that I've got, and they're all, I think, haunted house vibes. So hopefully I will enjoy these ones. But this one is Gallows Hill. I've then got The Haunting of Blackwood House. And then finally I have The Haunting of Ashburn House. So they do all sound quite similar, but hopefully they are a bit different. Please let me know if there's any one of these that you think I would really enjoy, what I should start with and what your thoughts were, because I'd love to have a chat with you in the comment section down below. Next up we have another horror book. This one is Our Hideous Progeny by C.E. McGill. I picked this one up on a bit of a whim. I've never actually heard of this author. In fact, I think this might be their debut, but the cover looks like something I would very much enjoy because I tend to enjoy gothic horror. I tend to enjoy horror that has a element of like wild plant life, fungi horror, those kinds of things, and the cover definitely looks like it's going to give those vibes. So I'm very excited for this one. So it says on the back that Mary is the great niece of Victor Frankenstein. She knows her great uncle disappeared in mysterious circumstances in the Arctic, but she doesn't know why or how. The 1850s are a time of discovery, and London is ablaze with the latest scientific debates. Mary, with a sharp mind and a sharper tongue, is keen to make her name in this new world, but as a woman her opinions are limited. So when she discovers some old family papers that allude to the shocking truth behind her great-uncle's past, she thinks she may have found the key to securing her future. But that ambition will come at a cost, especially when a deadly rival sets out to steal her secret. And then it says it's deliciously gothic, inventive, queer. This submersive twist on a classic tale brims with adventure. So I love that this is obviously linked with the Frankenstein classic story. I like the fact that this is going to be set in the 1850s. I think it's going to be gothic. I think it's going to be atmospheric, and I'm very excited. Next, we have a book that I've been meaning to read for a long time, and that is The Library at Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. My friend read this one and said that I would really enjoy it, and I trust their opinion, so I'm very excited to finally get to this one. It sounds like a slightly strange story and not like anything that I've read about before, so for that reason I'm just going to give you a read of the synopsis. So this says, Carolyn's not so different from the other people around her. She likes guacamole and cigarettes and steak. She knows how to use a phone. Clothes are a bit tricky, but everyone says nice things about her outfit with the Christmas sweater over the gold bicycle shorts. After all, she was a normal American herself once. That was a long time ago, of course, before she and the others were taken by the man they called father. In the years since then, Carolyn hasn't had a chance to go out much. Instead, she and her adopted siblings have studied the books in his library and learnt some of the secrets of his power, and sometimes they've wondered if their cruel tutor might secretly be God. Now father is missing, perhaps even dead, and the library that holds his secrets stands unguarded, and with it control over all creation. Doesn't that sound so interesting? Obviously this has a library at the centre of the story, which immediately has me interested, and it's just such a strange concept. We have this main character, Carolyn, who feels like she's just an ordinary American woman, and then she gets taken in by this man that they call father, and it all just sounds like it's a bit weird, a bit unsettling, a bit strange, and I'm excited to go on the journey. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one a try. The next book is House of Roots and Ruin by Erin A. Craig. So again, look at this cover. It looks like something that I would very much enjoy because it's got the rampant plant life on the front there, and as I've said before, I enjoy horror that has that kind of aesthetic. So I'm very excited for this one, especially because it's by this author, and I've read 2 books by this author. I've read House of Salt and Sorrows, and I've also read Small Favours, and I really loved both of them. I thought they were so good, quite different books, but so atmospheric and creepy. House of Salt and Sorrow in particular had a fairy tale vibe, but a dark fairy tale, which I really enjoyed, and I thought the author captured really well. So I'm very excited to read a new book by them. So again, let me just read a bit from the back. So it says, in a manor by the sea, one sister is still cursed. Despite dreams of adventures far beyond the Salon shores, 18-year-old Verity has remained at her family's estate with her older sister Camille, while the rest of their family has scattered across Arcania. When Verity receives word that the Duchess of Bloem, wife of a celebrated botanist, is interested in having Verity paint a portrait of her son Alexander, Verity jumps at the chance, but Camille won't allow it. Forced to reveal the secret she's kept for years, Camille tells Verity the truth one day. Haunted by tragic childhood events, Verity is still seeing ghosts, she just doesn't know it. Stunned, Verity flees High Manor that night and with nowhere else to turn makes her way to Bloem. At first she's captivated by the lush, verdant landscape and is quickly drawn into the charming, witty and impossibly handsome Alexander. To her surprise, a romance blossoms, but it's not long before Verity is plagued with nightmares and the darker side of Bloem begins to show through its sickly sweet facade. I think that sounds so fantastic. The next book on my TBR is a classic, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This, of course, is the classic tale of Dorian Gray, who creates this portrait which ages instead of himself. That's all I really know about it, but I've heard that it's very gothic and atmospheric, and I feel like it would be perfect for the autumn season, so I'm excited to finally get to this one. The next book that I have is another horror, and that is Devil's Day by Andrew Michael Hurley. So this is a folk horror, and folk horror is a subgenre of horror that I am very interested in. I've read a few books within that subgenre and have ended up really enjoying them. So I think it's a little niche that I'm going to end up really loving. So I'm trying to read more books that fit within that subgenre of horror and to sort of expand my reading. And I'm very excited to give this one a go because I've heard a lot of people recommending this one. Honestly, I don't know a huge amount about this one, and I think it's going to be one of those stories that's better to go in without knowing too much. All I know is that we follow our main character, who I think returns to their hometown, which is like a farming village basically, and I think the village is involved in various different folklore practices, rituals, things like that. I'm not sure, but I'm excited to find out. It's not very long, so I think it'll be quite a nice quick read, and I'm excited to give it a try. The next book that I have is Slewfoot by Brom. This is a book that I've heard a lot of people recommending. It's a witchy story and it's by an author that I have a bit of a hit and miss relationship with. I read Krampus by this author and really loved it. I then read Child Thief and really didn't enjoy it. So I'm hoping that this is going to swing the other way and I will enjoy this one and will continue to have positive experiences from this author. What drew me to this author in the first place is their artwork, because Brom is actually an artist and they include illustrations within their books, which I feel like just adds to the experience. Like, look at this. It's just so gothic and atmospheric and I love it. Oh my goodness, look how creepy this is. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one a go. All I know is that it's witchy and let's hope I have a good time. I'm not going to sit and go through the whole synopsis because it's quite long, but yeah, I'm very excited to read this one and I hope I love it as much as everyone else seems to. Next up we have a modern classic, and that is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I will be buddy reading this with my friend John, who has a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below so you can go and check it out. He has great videos. He does lots of filming out in the English countryside, so if you enjoy that kind of thing then I would recommend heading over there and checking out his content. But yeah, we will be buddy reading this story and I'm excited. I haven't read much of Stephen King. In fact, I think I've only read Salem's Lot and Carrie, and I didn't love them. So I'm a little bit cautious going into this one, but I know that this is a lot of people's favourites, and I think from the synopsis it's something that I'm going to really enjoy, and I know that John really enjoys this one, so I really hope that I enjoy this one as well. I really want to try more of Stephen King and give him more of a chance because, yeah, like I say, so far I've not had the best experience with their writing, but I know they're hugely popular and so I'm sure they're popular for a reason. Yes, this one says, "The house looks right, feels right to Dr. Lewis Creed. Rambling, old and comfortable. A place where the family can settle, the children can grow and play and explore. The rolling hills and meadows of Maine seem a world away from the fume-choked dangers of the city. It's only those big trucks on the road outside which growl out unnerving threats. Behind the house there's a carefully cleared path up to the woods to a place where generations of local children have walked in processions with the solemn innocence of the young, taking with them their dear departed pets for burial. A sad place maybe, but safe. Surely a safe place, not a place to seep into your dreams, to wake you sweating with fear and foreboding." Ooh. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I've heard that this is one of Stephen King's most scary books. I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm intrigued and I'm, yeah, looking forward to that buddy read. Next up we have this tome of a book, which is Empire of the Damned by J. Christoph. This one is huge, although to be fair it does also include some artwork in there which does take up some of the pages. But yes, I'm very excited for this one. This is the second book in his adult vampire series, and I remember I really enjoyed the first book when it came out. I actually filmed a dedicated review video for that book, so I'll link that down below if you're interested to hear my thoughts. But yes, I'm excited to continue on with this series. It's basically following our main character Gabriel, who is a vampire hunter, and it's just very theatrical, it's very over the top, it's very gothic, and it's just a fun time. I had a really enjoyable experience with the first book, so I hope that I will continue to enjoy this series. And yeah, like I said, it includes some artwork in here, which is why I like to collect these hardcovers, because yeah, I just really enjoy the style of the artwork, and it just feels like a really gothic and fun experience. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this series. Next up we have The Dark Between the Trees by Fiona Barnett. So this is a horror book that I recently got for my birthday actually, and I'm excited. It sounds like it's going to be a fun time. It also sounds like it's a folk horror, which, as I said, is a subgenre that I want to get more into. So this one says, 1643, a small group of parliamentarian soldiers are ambushed in an isolated part of northern England. Their only hope for survival is to flee into the nearby Moresby Wood, unwise though that might seem, because Moresby Wood is known to be an unnatural place, the realm of witchcraft and shadows, where the devil is said to go walking by moonlight. 17 men enter the wood, only 2 are ever seen again, and the stories they tell of what happened make no sense. Stories of shifting landscapes, of trees that appear and disappear at will, and of something else, something dark, something hungry. Today, 5 women are headed into Moresby Wood to discover once and for all what happened to that unfortunate group of soldiers. They are led by Dr. Alice Christopher, a historian who has devoted her entire academic career to uncovering the secrets of Moresby Wood. Armed with metal detectors, GPS units, mobile phones, and a most recent map of the area, which is nearly 50 years old, Dr. Christopher's group enters the wood ready for anything, or so they think. I think this one sounds so fun. I like the fact that we've got 2 timelines and we've got a mystery there. We don't know what happened to these soldiers all that time ago, and I'm sure it's going to be atmospheric and creepy, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Next up we have A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock, another horror book. Again, this cover looks like something I would really enjoy because we've got all the plant life on there and everything, so I'm also very much looking forward to this one. I'm also going to give you a read of the synopsis. So this one says, it is an unusual thing to live in a botanical garden, but Simon and Gregor are an unusual pair of gentlemen. Hidden away from the disapproving tattle of Victorian London, they are free to follow their own interests without interference. For Simon, this means working his taxidermal art. Gregor's business is exotic plants, lucrative but harmless enough, until his latest acquisition, a strange fungus which shows signs of intellect beyond any plant he's seen, inspires him to attempt a masterwork, true intelligent life from plant matter. Driven by the glory he'll earn from the Royal Horticultural Society for such an achievement, Gregor ignores the flaws in his plan, that intelligence cannot be controlled, that plants cannot be reasoned with, and that the only way his plant beast will flourish is if he uses a recently deceased corpse for the substrate. And then it says, an extraordinary tale of family, fungus, and more than a dash of bloody revenge from an exciting new voice in queer horror. Doesn't that sound so fantastic? I think this one is going to be so much fun. It's ticking all of the boxes. I love that it's set in Victorian London. It sounds like it's going to be gothic. We've got someone who's trying to create intelligent life from fungi. Oh, it sounds so creepy and atmospheric, and I'm very excited. Next up we have something a little bit different, and that is this little book, which is Duncton Wood by William Horwood. I say little, it's actually quite thick, but it's just like a small height. I don't know, it looks cute. And yeah, I mean, look at this cover. I had to include this on my autumn TBR, didn't I? Because look at all those autumn leaves. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I love the artwork on these old fantasy books. But yes, this is the first book in a trilogy, the Duncton Woods trilogy, I think it's called. And I don't know much about it other than that the main characters are moles, which sounds very unique and very charming. So this one says, enter the magical, colourful, poignant world of Brecon and Rebecca, Mandrake the Tyrant, Boswell the Scribe, Hulliver, Comfrey and all the other moles of Duncton Wood. Set deep in the English countryside, this enchanting story tells of an ancient community losing its soul but saved by courage and love. I just think that sounds so cute and I'm excited to give these books a read. Moving on to something less cute, we have another horror book, surprise, surprise, and that is A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I just got very confused which way to hold this one up because the house is like upside down on the cover, but it's this way. This is another haunted house story. I do enjoy that trope in horror. So this one says, playwright Holly Sherwin is close to her big break. Having received a grant to develop her new play, all she needs is time and space to bring her vision to life. Then, on a weekend away, she stumbles upon Hill House, an ornate if crumbling Gothic mansion near hidden outside a small town. Soon Holly's troupe of actors, each with ghosts of their own, arrive at Hill House for a creative retreat, but before long they find themselves at odds not just with one another, but with the house itself. So it says, for something has been waiting patiently in Hill House all these years, something no longer content to walk alone. So yeah, this one is literally returning to the famous Hill House, which of course was the novel written by Shirley Jackson, which is one of my favourite ever horror books. So that is very, very exciting. So yes, we shall see if this one can pull off everything that I want from it. I mean, I feel like it's difficult, isn't it, when someone is taking something so iconic and putting a new spin on it, because that's a lot of pressure. So I really hope that it is actually satisfactory and that it is everything that I want and more. Right, next up we have Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is one that I've had sitting on my shelf for a while actually, and it has the most haunting cover ever. It looks very, very creepy, so hopefully it will be the perfect Halloweeny read. But yeah, I can't actually remember a huge amount about what this one is actually about. So I'm going to read you from the inside. So it says, pop a pill, see the dead, side effects may occur. Erin hasn't been able to set a single boundary with her charismatic but reckless college ex-boyfriend, Silas. When he asks her to bail him out of rehab again, she knows she needs to cut him off. But days after he gets out, Silas turns up dead of an overdose in their hometown of Richmond, Virginia, and Erin's world falls apart. Then a friend tells her about Ghost, a new drug that allows users to see the dead. Want to get haunted? He asks. Grieving and desperate for closure with Silas, Erin agrees to a pill-popping seance. But the drug has unfathomable side effects, and once you take it, you can never go back. Wow, that sounds very unique. So literally a drug that supposedly lets you see ghosts. I mean, that sounds terrifying. I am intrigued and I want to read this one right now. Next up we have a dark fairy tale, and that is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. I have heard fantastic things about this book, but I've also heard that it is incredibly dark, so please do check out Content Warnings, as with all of these books, because I've basically just compiled a massive list of horror, and horror is obviously a genre that you have to be careful with because they do deal with distressing topics and things like that, so please be careful. But yes, very much for this one I've heard that it does go there when it comes to the darkness, especially for something that might outwardly seem like it might be quite nice, like it's got quite a fairy tale aesthetic to it, but I've heard it goes very dark. Anyway, so I'll read you from the back. This one says, a gruesome curse, a city in upheaval, a monster with unquenchable appetites. Marlinchen and her two sisters live with their wizard father in a city shifting from magic to industry. Oblier's last true witches, she and her sisters are little more than a tourist attraction as they treat their clients with archaic remedies and beguile them with nostalgic charm. Marchilin spends her days divining secrets in exchange for rubles and trying to placate her tyrannical, xenophobic father who keeps his daughters sequestered from the outside world. But at night, Marlichen and her sisters sneak out to enjoy the city's amenities and revel in its thrills, particularly the recently established ballet theatre where Marlichen meets a dancer who quickly captures her heart. As Malichen's late-night trysts grow more fervent and frequent, so does the threat of her father's rage and magic. And while Oblia flourishes with culture and bustles with enterprise, a monster lurks in its midst, born of intolerance and resentment and stuffed with old world power. Caught between history and progress, blood and desire, Malichin must grow upon her own magic to keep her city safe and find her place within it. Okay, so I think this one is going to be very atmospheric, quite magical, fairy tale-like, but leaning into that darkness as well. I've heard lots of fantastic things about this one. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong for the main character, Malichin. Please do correct me in the comments. But yes, I've heard lots of fantastic things about this book, so I'm excited to read it for myself. Okay, so next up we have The Watchers by A.M. Shine. This is a folk horror, I believe, and was a gift from one of my friends for my birthday, and I'm excited to read this one, especially because I know that it has been adapted into a movie, I believe, so I really want to read the book first and then I can enjoy the movie. And yeah, I just always like to read the original first before I watch an adaptation, so I'm excited to get to this one. I think it sounds like it's going to be fun. All I know is that we follow a woman whose car breaks down at the edge of a forest and she's forced to go into the forest to try and find help, and then she hears a woman screaming and the woman asks her, or is like encouraging her, to go and hide in this concrete bunker. So she follows, you know, thinking that something must be horribly wrong, and that's all I know, but I'm excited to find out more. And yeah, I've heard from a lot of people that this one is creepy and unsettling, and those are all the kinds of things that I want to read around Halloween time. Okay, and the final book on this autumn TBR mood reading list is a chunky one, and that is this book, which is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. This is such a beautiful cover, such a beautiful looking and sounding book, and one that I've been meaning to read for a long time. And I think this might be the perfect time to read it because there's something so sort of like atmospheric and cozy about a library setting, and something that just makes me think of autumn. I don't know, I think the smell of parchment and being indoors and being surrounded by dusty books just gives me the aesthetic of autumn season, and so I feel like this will be the perfect time to read this book. I know the sequel has come out for this one as well, so that's very exciting, and I need to get my hands on it because I already have this one in hardcover, so I kind of want to get them all in hardcover, but at the same time I want to read this one first and make sure that I actually love it before I start investing more money into this series. I am rambling now, but basically, yes, this one sounds like it is going to be fun. So on the inside flap it says, Eva has lived his whole life trapped within a vast library older than empires and larger than cities. Livera has spent hers in a tiny settlement out on the dust where no one goes and nightmares stalk. The world has never noticed them, but that's about to change. And that's literally all it says, but it is blurbed by Robin Hobb, which has caught my attention. She has said, if you like dark, you will love Mark Lawrence. And yes, I do like dark, so I really hope that I enjoy Mark Lawrence. And I'm excited for this one. Doesn't give much away, but someone lives in a massive ancient library. Sign me up, that sounds fantastic. So there we have it. Those are all of the books that I have pulled from my shelves that I think will be perfect to read over the next few months. Hopefully I'll be able to work my way through a decent handful of these. Like I said in the beginning, if there's any that you want me to prioritise, please do let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what you're excited to read. And yeah, I'm wishing you all the best. I hope you're having a fantastic day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Don't forget to like this video if you did like it, subscribe if you want to see some more from me, and I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!